Ladies and gentlemen, first it was the protesting farmers who were barricaded, and barricades were put all across the national capital region, different border posts of Noida, Delhi, and you had the scenes that's there up on your screens. Today, it was the leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi and newly elected MP Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, among several other Congress leaders who were stopped from entering Uttar Pradesh from Delhi border. What's common between the 2 days? These visuals on your screen. Massive jams on the road. On your left, you have, if you can get full scape onto the visuals of how the roads were completely blocked. 2 days in the national capital region. Roads were choco-block. Let's listen in to what people have had to say.
हम जा रहे हैं बहुत दूर यहाँ से 40 किलोमीटर।
कहाँ से आ रहे हैं आप?
हैं दिल्ली से।
अच्छा, कहाँ जा रहे हैं? इमरजेंसी है क्या?
इमरजेंसी है, वहाँ मौत हुई पड़ी है।
अब आप क्या चाहते हैं?
हम ये चाहते हैं हमें निकाल दो ताकि उस मरने वाले के साथ तो हो जाए, उसकी अर्थी के साथ।
जी।
हाँ।
आप कितनी देर से यहाँ पर फंसे हुए हैं?
1 घंटा हो गया हमें। कहाँ जाएं हम, बताओ? जनता, हम भी तो हिंदुस्तानी है ना, यही हिंदुस्तानी है बस।
ऑफिस जाना है,
किसी को ऑफिस जाना है, कोई इमरजेंसी में खड़ा है, कोई बीमार है। अब मुझे जो है वहाँ अर्थी के साथ में जाना है, मेरे भाई की डेथ होगी, अब मैं यहाँ खड़ा हूँ।
ये हो गया हमारे को आधा घंटा हो गया, मतलब जाम में फंसे थे।
अच्छा, आधे घंटे हो गए।
हाँ जी।
और पेशेंट को क्या हुआ है?
पेशेंट का ऑपरेशन हो रखा है, इनको लेके जा रहे हैं।
फ्रैक्चर हुआ है।
अच्छा, क्या ये कौन है? ये आपके?
ये मेरे ब्रदर है।
ब्रदर है?
हाँ जी।
कितनी देर से आप जाम में फंसे?
मैं आधे घंटे से ज्यादा हो गया।
आधे घंटे ज्यादा हो गया?
हाँ जी।
अब कहाँ तक जाना है अभी आपको?
मैंने देहरादून जाना है।
मैम, हम 9:15 बजे के फंसे हुए हैं, करोल बाग से आ रहे हैं हम लोग।
किधर जाना था?
हमको हापुड़ मजिस्ट्रेट ऑफिस जाना था।
कितनी देर में पहुंचना था?
मैम, हमको 2 घंटे में 11 बजे का अपॉइंटमेंट था हमारा।
हाँ।
अब हम 11 बजे से ऊपर हो गया हमको यहाँ पर।
तो अभी आज आपका अपॉइंटमेंट मिस होगा, फिर नेक्स्ट क्या हो पाएगा?
कहाँ हम दोबारा करना पड़ेगा, रिटर्न जाना पड़ेगा या फिर वापस जाना पड़ेगा?
क्या आपको लग रहा है कितनी देर में आप खुल पाओगे?
मैम सब बोल रहे हैं कि अभी 2-3 घंटे तो और नहीं खुल पाएगा, ये बोल रहे हैं सब लोग।
जी। आपको लग रहा है कि इससे इनकन्वीनियंस होती है लोगों को? प्रोटेस्ट का साइट अलग होना चाहिए।
बिल्कुल मैम, ये सब बिल्कुल वो काफी बड़ा रोड है, साइड कर सकते थे, साइड से निकालते रहते, एक साइड कर लेते, हो जाता ये इसी था। पर नहीं, प्रशासन ने सबको एक साथ फंसाया हुआ है, कुछ गाड़ियों के साइड से फंसाया हुआ है।
So let me explain what really has this been about. Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra were en route. The violence hit Sambhal when they were stopped by the cops at the Ghazipur border. For over 2 hours, the Gandhis and the Congress leaders stayed put as they attempted to send out a political message, forgetting the long traffic jam they were causing behind them. Those visuals on your screen, look at the traffic jam, and if we could just get the shots up as well. But after the cops refused to let them move an inch forward, Rahul Gandhi as well as Priyanka Gandhi Vadra and the Congress cadre headed back to Delhi, and finally the traffic opened up.
संभल जाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, पुलिस मना कर रही है, अलाउ नहीं कर रही है। एज एलओपी मेरा अधिकार बनता है कि मैं जा सकता हूं, मगर तब भी वो मुझे रोक रहे हैं। मैंने कहा है कि मैं अकेला जाने को तैयार हूं, पुलिस के साथ जाने को तैयार हूं, मगर उन्होंने वो भी बात एक्सेप्ट नहीं की और अब कह रहे हैं कि कुछ दिनों में अगर हम वापस आएंगे तो फिर वो हमें जाने देंगे। ये एक्चुअली जो एलओपी के अधिकार हैं उसके खिलाफ है, मुझे अलाउ करना चाहिए। कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है ना, ये कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के खिलाफ है। हम सिर्फ संभल जाना चाहते हैं, देखना चाहते हैं वहाँ क्या हुआ, लोगों से मिलना चाहते हैं, मगर हमारा जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अधिकार है, मेरा जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अधिकार है, उसको मुझे दिया नहीं जा रहा है। तो यही है, नया हिंदुस्तान है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को ख़त्म करने का हिंदुस्तान है, अंबेडकर जी के कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को ख़त्म करने का हिंदुस्तान है, मगर हम लड़ते रहेंगे। धन्यवाद।
The Bharatiya Janata Party has launched a sharp attack on the Gandhi stalwarts, terming their attempt to move towards Sambhal a photo op.
आज राहुल गांधी जी उस विवशता में एक रस्म अदायगी करने के लिए उत्तर प्रदेश के संवेदनशील इस समय जो क्षेत्र है वहां संभल में जाने का प्रयास करते नजर आए। यहां मैं कहना चाहूंगा कि समाजवादी पार्टी के वरिष्ठ नेता प्रोफेसर राम गोपाल यादव जी ने यह कहा है कि कांग्रेस औपचारिकता निभा रही है। मैं उनके बयान में को थोड़ा अलग रूप में कहना चाहूंगा कि कांग्रेस औपचारिकता नहीं, विवशता निभा रही है। और इससे बहुत स्पष्ट है, और विवशता इसलिए है कि इस मुद्दे पर न कांग्रेस के किसी नेता ने कभी कुछ बोला, न लिखा, न कुछ किया, और आज अचानक ऐसा प्रतीत होता है कि सिर्फ मीडिया आकर्षण पाने के लिए उन्होंने इंडी गठबंधन को साथ न रख पाने की छटपटाहट में यह कार्य किया है।
Joining me on the show is Dr. Pooja Tripathi, spokesperson for Congress, Pradeep Rawat, a citizen, a part of the civil society, Aris Patania, BJP leader, as well as Nirmal Kaur, former IPS officer. Thank you very much, all four of you, for joining us. First, let me just come across to you, Pradeep Rawat. Pradeep Rawat, what do you make out of it? We met 2 days ago, and that day it was the protest by farmers. You said you support the farmers, you come from a farmer's background, but you were extremely upset about how you took 2 hours instead of what it would be 42 minutes to reach the destination that you were trying to reach. Today, you had very similar scenes in the national capital, but for very different reasons.
I completely agree with this statement that no matter what happens, ultimately the suffering party is always the citizens, the common man. As you could see in the few bites that were shown just now, somebody died in the family and the person was not able to meet his brother. That is tragic. There were students who missed their exams. There were people who could not reach their offices. Ultimately, I don't know how politics is done, but the suffering party is always the citizens. There should be laws. They should be obeyed. I completely agree. If there is a law and order situation, it should be tackled in a way that, the further complications do not arise. But ultimately, if Rahul Gandhi was stopped, and I understand he was supposed to be stopped by the government because they didn't want any, law and order situation. But what about the other people who wanted to go to their respective destinations? I think one lane should have been open for common man, and that would have made some convenience to them. Otherwise, it will continue to happen, whether it's a protest or whether it's Rahul Gandhi or any other leader who wants to go to a place. Ultimately, the citizens will continue to suffer. And that is something which we all need to understand, especially the political parties, the leading political parties. They need to understand, if they keep doing this kind of stuff, ultimately they will alienate the common man from themselves. This is what I feel.
Nirmal Kaur, if I can get you in, what do you make out of this? Is this politicking, or is this just plain simple poor bandobast? Why am I asking you this? Because it was a given that Rahul Gandhi would not be allowed to enter. There is a clampdown in Uttar Pradesh, in Sambhal specifically. There are certain sections that are in place which do not allow for public gathering. There are people already being taken into custody in Sambhal if they're trying to visit the tense area. Now, here's the question. Those leaders anyway would not have been allowed to go inside it. They are saying it is their right to go inside. Why not stop them right where they started? Why at the heart of everything where it is happening and scores of civilians are going to be affected? Ms. Nirmal Kaur, my question is to you.
Yeah, I want to tell you, that this kind of a thing, putting people, harassing people on the road, not allowing them to carry on with their lives. Many of them will miss their wages. Many of them will miss other important work. And this kind of a thing, which is happening, the politicians, the leaders, everyone, they take the citizens for granted. They take the common man for granted. And the fact that they'll be put to bother doesn't bother them at all. It is their own political mileage or photo opportunity or, anything. I mean, just by waving a red book, it doesn't make you an adherent of Constitution. If you want to read the Constitution, read it properly,
No,
get into the spirit of the Constitution.
Is it time that the police sees this very differently, that the administration sees this very differently? If they have to be blocked, why block them at point B when they can be stopped at point A? I'm not talking politics here with you. I'm talking to you as a former IPS officer.
You know what I mean
Is there a
when
different
once,
prism for the administration and the police that they need to
how can
really
you,
see protest
you
with?
know,
Because protest is a right.
once he leaves, suppose he is out of his house in Delhi, out of his house in Delhi. I mean, till he reaches the border, one doesn't know where exactly is he going. How can you stop him from moving within Delhi? He had to be stopped at border when it's very clear and it is proved that he's going towards Sambhal. So police had no other option but to stop him at the border. I mean, that is the only way to prevent mischief. That is the only way to, allow some kind of curfew is has been imposed there, and he's trying to go there and, breed further mischief and putting the life and, quality and everything, the wages, the carry on with the day of the whole public at risk. Is not bothered about public's appearance at all. Police cannot handle it any other way. It has to be stopped. He'll be stopped at the border. Where else can he be
Dr.
stopped?
Pooja Tripathi, if I can get you in, Miss Dr. Pooja Tripathi. I mean, you have Rahul Gandhi saying he's the leader of opposition and he has every right to go to Sambhal to witness what he wants to. But what's the cost at the other hand?
Sneha, I'll start from where you left off. Protest is a fundamental right. Rahul Gandhi, as a leader of opposition, forget leader of opposition, as an Indian, as a part of India, every farmer has right to protest, to reach out to the national capital. They will reach the national capital, which is the seat of power. The seat of parliament is there, and they will voice their concerns. Rahul Gandhi, he wrote to the administration that he wants just 5 members from the group, from the Congress group, to visit it. The huge barricading, the laying out of police forces wasn't necessary. He even requested that he go alone in the police vehicle to the Sambhal, to the riot-affected families, to meet the riot-affected families, and he'll come back the same day. But no, the huge barricading, the deployment of police forces, not allowing him. Why are you not allowing him when everything is, everything is normal as per your claims? Why is the leader of opposition of India not being allowed to visit a place where 5 people have died and 30 people have been arrested? So what's the whole point? When you say, I understand the citizen who is representing here when he says, I understand that when you showed that by that somebody died in their family, but what was the need for police when Rahul Gandhi and the whole Congress group has written to administration that they want to visit Sambhal, when they requested for 5 people? What was the need for altercation, and why this textbook thing of stopping? They did it in Hathras, they did it in Unnao, they did it in Lakhimpur Kheri, they did it in Manipur. Why this whole, the toolkit of stopping the leaders of opposition?
Aris Patania, Dr. Pooja Tripathi is saying a very simple thing. This was something that was known beforehand. He was going to go. Was he told not to go? Was an appeal sent out to him that do not come and create a ruckus or a chaos? You will be stopped at the border and people are going to be inconvenienced. Was this communicated to him?
Yes, Sneha. On one side, there is an issueless, agendaless and purposeless Congress. And the other side is their leaders who lack the moral, ethical and the political impulse. Let us read into the circumstances. On 30th of November, the Supreme Court ultimately stepped in. And on 30th of November, there is an order which is passed by the local administration that since 10th of December, no outsider shall be allowed in Sambhal. This is very clear and very categorical. Rahul Gandhi is brandishing the constitution and saying that I am the LOP and I have a fundamental right to vote. Let him please understand that right to freedom of movement, this is not an absolute right, and this is subject to reasonable restrictions. And these restrictions are status neutral and protocol neutral. A common man and a LOP, they have the same rights also. This is a too sensitive and a fragile situation. He's just going to fan the flames. He's just going to create to more confuse the confusion over there. And this tokenism, this cheap histrionics and this cheap gimmickry, had histrionics and gimmickry been able to deliver the results, India by now would have turned into a happy forces of the state since the past 7 decades. So my respectful submission remains that Mr. Rahul Gandhi and Mr. Congress, please try to understand the situation as I'm going. Please keep your ears close to the ground. Please respect the law of the land. Please respect the definition
Dr. Pooja Tripathi, if I can get you in to what Mr. Patania is saying, I want to ask you this. Rahul Gandhi is a leader who's traveled across the nation. He's gone for his Bharat Jodo Yatras. He's spoken to various stakeholders. That's what he says he stands for. I'm very much sure, I'm very much aware that the Congress is aware of the huge losses that people incur when they have situations such as this. A very simple question that I want to ask you is, can Congress do this in a different way?
So, Sneha, what do you expect from opposition if not protest, if not reach out to the people who have been, been wronged, the people who don't have a voice there? As a leader of opposition, as a principal opposition party, we never went there for sloganeering. We didn't go there for, carrying out political protest. We wanted to meet the families of five people who were dead in the riots, and we wanted to talk to them. And that's why we made a simple request of only 5 people, let alone one person to go in the police jeep and come back. The problem is the issue here is that when they claim that everything is right, when they claim they're the ambassadors of law and orders, they didn't allow only one person to remain. We're really sorry. This has to come down to this. Somebody wants to visit Hathras to talk to the families. They are attacked at Ghazipur border. Farmers want to raise in their voice for MSPs. They're attacked at Ghazi border. What is this? Is this the country for chosen few where nobody has a voice? No leader of opposition or any political party.
Mr. Patania,
talk to people. They don't have any right to do so. You will employ the whole army of people, the whole barricading. You'll disrupt this could have done
very
very
simple question.
so here's the question, and before I go to Nirmal Kaur on this, Mr. Patania, this is not the first time that it has happened, and this may well be not the last time that this is going to happen. This is not the last time that the opposition is going to be stopped like this at the border. But my question, Mr. Patania, is very simple. Can this be done very differently? Can there be not a clampdown? Can a clampdown be avoided? Can there be one route that is opened up to the ordinary public? Can the politicians be restrained to just one route? Can that be allowed? Can people be allowed? Because you are saying right to movement is not absolute, but what about the right of movement for ordinary people? If you want to stop protesters for whatever reason, why not stop them and curtail them to one particular part of the route and open up the other so people can go about doing their business, like going for the funeral of their loved one, which one of the people we got in to really speak about, another person who said that they were just waiting for a 30,000 case, which was before the magistrate, and it's taken a long time for them to even get that appointment. Mr. Patania.
Sneha, a very sweet and a simple corollary which needs to understand. The Congress needs to understand, and their leader Rahul Gandhi also needs to understand. Once the Honorable Supreme Court has stepped in, once there's a blanket order issued by the local administration that no outsiders to be allowed, once everybody understands the exigency, the fragility, and the sensitivity of the situation, so why to create a furor? Why to make mountains out of molehill? Why they are urgent, more and more about to go to the situation and try to fan the flames over there and just to play politics over photo op? So please leave this politics of photo op. You need to connect.
Politics is definitely be playing for whatever reasons, but if I can get in Mr. Pradeep Rawat once more, please. Mr. Pradeep Rawat, you heard both of the panelists speak, and both have their reasons. The Congress is saying Rahul Gandhi has all the right to go there. He even came down to saying just allow one person to go in, allow him alone to go. And then you have Mr. Patania say that, listen, there was a complete clampdown in that area, nobody is going to be allowed. Here's what I want to ask you. As a person who lives in the national capital region, you're going to be getting up for some possibly more tougher days, as there's going to be protests in the next week as well, with the farmers beginning their agitation of Delhi Chalo. Now, the court is very clear. Everybody has the right to protest. Everybody. But as a person who lives in the national capital, what do you want to see?
See, as far as the statements made by Mr. Rahul Gandhi was, he has a constitutional right to go to the Sambhal. But then what about the constitutional right of the common man? Even they had the right to go to their respective destination. So I have a question for both BJP as well as the Congress, that they can, bicker about their politics. That is perfectly fine. And, one-upmanship is also okay. But as far as the common man is concerned, there should be a way out. They should not be inconvenienced, because ultimately they are the ones who are going to be voting for BJP or Congress. So they should be the ones who should not be inconvenienced by both the parties, whether it's the party in power or the party in opposition. As far as a citizen I'm concerned, I feel government should always find a middle ground. And opposition should not feel that if they do a protest or something is going on in their minds for fighting for some cause, they should always remember, if the citizens are inconvenienced, ultimately citizens will not be supporting their cause. So they must need to understand that if citizens are to be inconvenienced or citizens are not able to reach their destinations, then they must be the top priority, not just the political game upmanship. That is what I believe.
Nirmal Kaur, there's been many studies on the cost of protest, this severe impact of protests, and about how, not just what we've seen today, but over the last several months, whether it be the farmers' protests, whether it be the Maratha agitation, the courts have said nobody can be stopped from doing their business, from doing their jobs. The costs have been severe, the costs have been incurred. Nirmal Kaur, in 2024 India, there's a lot that is said about how the perspectives need to be changed, the prism needs to be changed, how people go about doing their jobs and lives need to be changed. Doesn't it really come down for the police as well?
Yes, of course it is. Police is one of the facilitators so that people carry on their lives normally and have a sense of security, are allowed to move freely. But everyone has their responsibility. The politicians also have a responsibility in that they should not put people to trouble unnecessarily. If there's a blanket order saying that no outsiders are allowed, what kind of drama is this? Making a pretense of going and getting stopped at the border and crying foul and doing all kind of histrionics, and which is going to be of no use. They think they are getting some political mileage, but the citizens are being harassed like anything.
Here's the point. There are several routes. Why have this heavy security bandobast right from the morning, just shutting down the routes totally, when the action has actually not even started off? That's again, we saw that during the farmers' protest. Barricades were up. There was a clampdown completely in the national capital region. When these protests were happening, the routes were completely cordoned off. Why? The farmers had not even reached the spot for the protests. So there's hours before any action really starts, the absolute clampdown. This can't really be taken as a normal in the name of bandobast anymore as well.
The preventive part police has to do. Suddenly, if it is overwhelming kind of crowds come and, they take over the way it has happened in the past, it takes police, very unawares. They are caught unawares, and they are it's very difficult at that time to close. They have to take this preemptive action, the precautions, so that the situation doesn't get out of hand. Now, today you're saying that 5 people are going or 1 is going. God knows how many people and what shape it can take. So from situation to become that kind of, it's a very volatile situation. Anything can happen anytime with mobs. Mob is a very different ballgame altogether. It's not a collection of individuals. It has a personality of its own. It moves on its own. It has, traumas and tantrums of its own. So that is a very different thing. So police has to be prepared to deal with mob, not with just individuals.
All right.
So when you're dealing with mobs, police has to do this take preemptive action, take all kinds of precautions. That situation doesn't get out of hand, because if the situation gets out of hand, the lives of the citizens put even more to trouble.
Well, the truth is, Ms. Nirmal Kaur, from what you are saying and how people are responding, the fact remains that this is not the first time, not the second time, not the last time that we are going to be witnessing these images, these visuals, not only in the national capital region, but several parts of India as protests peak, take different forms. And while the Supreme Court and different high courts have time and again made it very clear that everybody has a right to protest, there is reasonable restrictions to it. But how does 2024 India maneuver their work around to ensure constitutional authority, supremacy, right to protest, and just the very right to life? Dr. Pooja Tripathi, Pradeep Rawat, R.S. Pathania, as well as Nirmal Kaur, thank you very much for your time.